All right, if you've ever cast a line, you know this lure. It's a staple, right? It's in almost every tackle box. But the story behind it, well, it is anything but ordinary. It's an incredible tale that connects a French workshop to a Wisconsin river. And get this, it involves a World War, nylon stockings, and a surprising number of squirrels. Let's dive in.
So let's just start with a huge question right out of the gate. Is this the single most successful fishing lure ever made? Now, that sounds like a pretty wild claim, but when you really look at the history, the evidence is, well, it's pretty hard to ignore.
And, this isn't just some company marketing slogan. You can ask around, talk to any seasoned angler, and you'll probably hear the same thing. There's this genuine belief that this simple little piece of metal and fur has landed more fish than anything else, period. So, where did this legend even come from? Let's rewind all the way to the beginning.
Our story doesn't start in a tackle shop or on a fishing boat. No, it begins in the mind of a very meticulous French engineer. This wasn't some happy accident. It was a product of pure, deliberate precision. The name MEPS itself kind of tells you everything you need to know. It's not a family name or anything like that. It's actually a French acronym. It stands for Precision Equipment for Sport Fishing. And that one word, precision, that is the absolute key to this entire story. The guy behind it all was André Molnart. Back in 1938, he basically combined his two biggest passions, fishing and engineering, to create this spinner. Now, he knew he had something effective, but there's no way he could have imagined that a world war was about to kick off, a chain of events that would take his little invention global. And this is where the story takes a wild and unexpected turn, jumping across the Atlantic Ocean to a small town in Wisconsin, and to a very, very frustrating day of fishing. This one single moment would change the course of fishing history forever. I mean, the journey this lure took to America was just completely improbable. So it starts with Molnart's invention in '38. Years later, an American GI named Frank Valek brings a few back from Europe after the war. Then, in 1951, he gives one to his buddy, Todd Sheldon, who owns a small sports shop in Antigua, Wisconsin. Sheldon, not really thinking much of it, just tosses it in his tackle box and pretty much forgets all about it. Until one day. Sheldon is out on the Wolf River, and he's getting completely skunked. I mean, nothing is working. So, in total desperation, he's digging around in his tackle box, finds that weird little French lure his friend gave him, and figures what the heck and ties it on. The result? In just 2 hours, he lands a stringer of 4 trout weighing over 12 pounds. In that moment, Todd Sheldon wasn't just catching fish. He was hooked.
So that one incredible fishing trip was the spark. Sheldon knew he had to get his hands on more of these lures. But his initial supply chain, well, let's just say it was unconventional.
To get more lures, Sheldon started trading with a woman in France that his friend Valek knew, and the payment, believe it or not, it was nylon stockings, which were a huge luxury in post-war Europe. But here was the problem. The MEPS spinners were absolutely flying off his shelves so fast, the woman couldn't possibly wear out the stockings quickly enough to justify the trades. Demand was already blowing past this very, very unusual supply chain. So, Sheldon started buying directly from Molnart's factory. In 1956, he actually sold his tackle shop just to focus entirely on importing MEPS. And get this, by 1960, just a few years later, sales had absolutely exploded, past 500,000 units a year in the United States alone. And according to his son, Mike Sheldon, Todd's initial goal was this crazy high number, a number he picked because it was more than any other lure had ever sold in North America. Well, they didn't just meet that goal. They blew right past it. But why? Why was it so successful? What made this simple-looking spinner so ridiculously effective? Well, it all comes down to two things: brilliant French engineering and a surprising American discovery that, yep, involves squirrels. Okay, so this all goes back to that word in the name, precision. Unlike cheaper lures, the components here are perfectly machined, not just stamped out of some mold. The blade is designed to spin like crazy, creating tons of flash and vibration that fish just can't resist. But here's the real genius part. While that blade is going wild, the body of the lure stays perfectly stable. For any angler who's ever dealt with frustrating line twist from other spinners, you know what an absolute game changer this is. It's so stable, you don't even need a swivel. But there was another secret to unlock. On another trip to the Wolf River, Todd Sheldon noticed a young kid who had also limited out on trout, but all the boy's fish were bigger than his. The only difference? The kid's lure had a small tuft of squirrel tail tied to the hook. This sent Sheldon into this experimental frenzy. He tried bear hair, fox, coyote, even Angus cow hair. But nothing, nothing, created that subtle, lifelike, pulsating action in the water quite like squirrel tail. And just like that, the iconic dressed Mepps was born.
So you've got this incredible French precision combined with this clever American ingenuity. And that's what cemented the Mepps spinner's place in fishing history, really backing up its claim as the world's #1 lure.
And that whole world's #1 lure claim, it isn't just an empty slogan. Just take a look at this data from 1970. In a single year, 46 winners in the biggest national fishing contests, run by Field & Stream and Sports Afield magazines, all caught their winning fish on a Mepps. That's not marketing, folks. That's documented proof.
What's really cool is that the company today is a perfect reflection of its history. The components are still machined with that same French precision in the original factory. But then they're shipped all the way to Antigo, Wisconsin, where they are hand-assembled and distributed, staying true to their American roots.
And if you ever happen to drive through Antigo, you will see this sign. The Squirrel Tails Wanted program is still going strong. Hunters can trade tails for cash or for lures. It's just this charming old-school tradition that directly connects the company's past right to its present. When you step back and look at it, the whole journey is just incredible. You've got a French engineer's precision, a GI's lucky souvenir, a Wisconsin shop owner's vision, and one really bad day of fishing. And all of it came together to launch a global phenomenon from a tiny 10-foot square room in the back of a small-town shop. Amazing.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? Every lure has a story. The Mepps spinner is a legend, for sure. But what about that beat-up old crankbait or that oddly colored spoon you've got? The next time you open your tackle box, take a closer look. You really never know what incredible story might be hiding in there.